All right, so I know we're a couple minutes past, so we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome to IASG. We're basically the security club here on campus. I would assume you know that because you're here. So today we're going to be doing a bunch of different security demos. We got some interesting things to show you guys just to hopefully get you interested in coming back to the club. If you don't already know, which you probably do, we'll be here pretty much every week. If anything changes, we'll let you know. But we'll be here 5:15 every Tuesday. So. Yeah, so we'll do cabinet introductions right now, and then we'll basically get into the demos. After the demos, we've got some social events that we want to talk about and gauge interest for, and we'll do that after the demo. So I'm Daniel Lymanowski. I'm the president of the club, and that's pretty much all you need to know. And then we could just go around for cabinet members.
I'm Logan Wooler. I'm the treasurer for IASG.
I'm Cole Sweezy. I'm equipment chair for IASG.
Kevin Davis. I'm the social chair for IASG. I'm Keenan Pelly. I'm the public relations chair.
I'm Megan Miller, and I'm the secretary. I lost my voice.
Again?
Okay, so yeah, we'll just, like I said, we'll cover some things after the demos. We want to talk about some social events that we're interested in doing. But yeah, so we'll just jump right into the demos. We'll be doing a bunch of different things today. But first, we've got one from Kevin, so just hand over the mic to you. Get my laptop out of the way.
Cool, thanks. All right. So I'm going to talk quickly about Shodan and census primarily, and also just kind of things on the internet that you can be aware of. Okay. All right. So first we're going to start with talking about the Internet of Things, which is pretty much just talking about all the different things that make up the internet and all the devices that are on there. So this could be anything from the light bulbs you see there. It could also be something like a dog collar that keeps track of your dog. It could be a refrigerator, or it could be cars, or really anything that's on the internet that, even if it shouldn't be, is on there. So what Shodan and Census are pretty much search engines for stuff that's on the internet. It can find different devices and things of that nature that are on there. So what you can do when you use it is find where certain devices are primarily located. You can also figure out things like what they're running and different more specific details about each device that you find. So the kinds of things are mainly servers. You can find webcams. You can find traffic lights, routers, and different things of that nature. The one I'm going to be showing in a little bit is Shodan, which we'll get to later. So why is this important to find stuff that's on there? Well, you can find vulnerabilities based on the different things you see on the devices. So this could be maybe what it's running, where it's running, and things like that that can give you more information and maybe find some kind of way to get into it, and you really shouldn't be able to do that without knowing this. You can also just find information that's valuable, such as how many of a certain device are out there and where they're located. So if you want to know where like a group of some kind of server is, you could use Shodan or Census to find that, which could be important for you. Another thing I'm going to talk about is Google dorking, or Google Dorks, and that's another way to find things that are on the internet that are kind of easily accessible, even though Google doesn't give it to you right away. And those could potentially be dangerous for somebody that is looking for them and knows how to exploit them. So what it is pretty much is doing a special query, and you can find more sensitive information that doesn't normally pop up when you search in Google. So if you know how to do these kinds of things, which you can't really see on that side, but it can give you special information about maybe, I think this one over here is MP3 download sites where you can download different MP3 files. And you can find different things like webcams, similar to Shodan and Census, and also passwords, administration login pages, and sensitive files that should not be accessible, but if you know how to find them, it's possible to, and you can then exploit them once you know this information. I'm not going to get into very technical stuff about it, but just knowing that it's out there and that sometimes the information that you don't expect to be accessible to anybody on the internet actually is. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple examples of Shodan now. I already have them pulled up. So these are both webcams that are on Iowa State's campus. So this is what it actually looks like when you go into Shodan and search for something. You can see some information about where it is and things of that nature, and also different ports and services that are running on the specific device. So for this one, it's a webcam that's located on top of the MU. So if anybody wants, they can go on to this, find it, and then go around and move and see what's happening in real time on the campus. So if you want to be weird, you can watch people and things like that, which is fine, I guess, if you're into that. So yeah, it's just something that you can go on, all kinds of different things, watch people. Yeah. So like I said, anybody can go on and do this once you find it. And yeah, this is what it'll look like. I have another one up here as well. There's a webcam that's located on top of the library, and this one has people on it. Yeah, so that's fine. But it's pretty much the same thing where you can go around and use the webcam to manipulate it and zoom in and look around and maybe see what's going on around campus when you're not there. So yeah, if you want to do that, you can. All right, that's the end of my demo. So I'm just showing you some of the things that are on the internet that you might not be aware of and how people can exploit them to take advantage of it.
All right, so I'm going to talk about a Sql injection, which is a way that hackers can gain access to websites commonly used, and it really shouldn't work anymore. It's very simple to do, very simple to protect against. So a little bit of background about what Sql is, what injection is. Sql, also called SQL, it's a language that is used to communicate with databases. It's been around for a long time, since like 1980s, I think it's been common use. It looks like English. It has commands like select from tables, show tables, insert into table, use database, stuff like that. And then an injection is when you insert code into someone else's program illicitly in order to change how it executes. So an SQL injection is when you inject SQL code into some other program to gain more access to a database than you should. So the reason this is an issue is because SQL was back in the 1980s, way before the internet was commonplace. And then come to the 90s, a bunch of websites want to try to find a way to integrate their websites to allow their users to somehow interact with a database. And some websites, or some programming languages, handled this idea pretty well. Some not so much. Most famous one is PHP. PHP is still super commonplace. Everyone loves PHP. It works, it's portable, but it's pretty insecure by default. Basically what PHP would do was it would take a user input and just drop it into MySQL, which is an issue. So to give you an idea of what an SQL injection attack would look like, let's look at a bit of PHP code. This one is a MySQL query, which is a PHP command. And then inside the parentheses is just a SQL command. It is select asterisk from logins where username equals $username, password is $password. Basically what that means, select asterisk from logins basically just takes everything from one row in a database called logins, where username equals $username, so and password equals $password. Those two $sign things, those are both variables that are taken from an HTML input, and they are searched for in the database. Basically it looks for a row where the username matches the input, password matches the input, just a common login authenticator. So we can break this pretty easily. So we're gonna set the admin variable, or the username variable to admin, because there's probably an admin account somewhere on the database. And the password is where the injection comes in. It's going to be apostrophe or 1 equals apostrophe 1. It looks a bit finicky, but when you drop it into the code, it looks more clear. You get select from logins where username equals admin, and password equals blank. The two apostrophes kind of merge together to make it look like you're just putting in a blank password. And then or 1 equals 1. The way it works in there, you're basically modifying the Boolean statement inside of this query. And what the SQL interpreter will say is, okay, we found a row, the admin's equal to admin, good. The password's not blank. However, 1 still equals 1, so this login's good, and it'll log you in, which is bad. Let's give you an example of what this looks like. Pull this up. That's good. So, simple login website, username, admin, password. Do the password correct, logs you in, all good. Type the password in wrong, doesn't log you in. So it looks good to friendly inputs and normal non-friendly inputs, but when we type in our little injection thing, we're logged in. Don't know the password, we managed to get in. That's why it's important whenever you're setting up a website, you want to make sure you sanitize inputs, want to use prepared statements to get around this. Otherwise, people can just log in without knowing your password. Really easy to do, really easy to stop. Any questions? Yeah.
Are there more advanced examples?
There's a lot of ways you can do that. You can actually input an entire new command by doing like a apostrophe right parenthesis and a semicolon, and then typing in something like drop all tables, just completely erase the database. And then if they do like some more, there's more stuff than that. I can't think about the top of my head though. Yeah?
How would you sanitize it so that you couldn't do that to your password?
So one way you can do it is a command called Mysql real escape, which that's called escaping the input. Basically what the command does is it puts a backslash before each character that could potentially harm your database. So like any apostrophe, any semicolon, in SQL would get a backslash in front, which basically means use this character as a literal, it's not part of the expression. Then the other one is prepared statements, which is a bit more complicated. Basically setting variables equal to variables equal to variables. It's a bit of a mess, but it's a bit more secure.
That way, whenever you say your password, something tell you not to use special characters.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Is that all? All right.
Okay, so mine's not really a demo, more of just giving you guys ideas of things to work on outside of Club if you're interested. So just out of curiosity, if you were like me, if there's any incoming freshmen or anything like that, who really knows nothing about security and is kind of starting from zero? Anybody here? Okay, so awesome, a few people. Okay, so then this demo should hopefully be of help to you. Let me just go ahead and get this set up real quick. Raise your hand if you've heard of like penetration testing and know what that is. Okay, awesome. So for those of you that don't, really quickly, penetration testing is basically trying to break into, whether that's like a server or a network. You're basically trying to see how you can get in, get access, escalate privileges to different user accounts, and just seeing how you can manipulate vulnerabilities or exploits and gain access to where you're not supposed to be. So, I mean, there's paid jobs. People do this professionally. Like, that's all they do. There's firms that just do this, and it's a ton of fun. So, the way you can kind of get started with that, there's a website called VulnHub. vulnhub.com, and I can put a link in Slack and all that. But basically, VulnHub is just a collection of VMs, so boxes that you can run virtually on your computer. And it's a huge collection of VMs that were built purposely to be vulnerable. The great thing about VulnHub is, and I'll just click on a random one here, but there's just a ridiculous amount on here. So the cool thing is, and I'll show you how to get it all set up on your computer. So if you want to try it out tonight and start trying to do some pen testing, you can. But the awesome thing about VulnHub is, you know, you get a description. They give you some information about how to set it up on some. But the most useful is actually, I don't think it's on this one. That doesn't help. I'm just going to do something here real quick so that I can actually see this. Okay. Let me try the one I'm going to demo here. The SICK-OS ones, I'll also put that in the Slack, but these are actually really nice to go through. If you guys have heard of the OSCP certification, they try to model that, the boxes that you work on for that. That's like a pen testing cert. But basically, the cool thing about VulnHub here is the walkthroughs. So this one has been around for a while, so it's got a ton of walkthroughs. But basically, and this is what I've been doing the past summer, is picking one of these boxes, going at it, and trying all the different things that I currently know to try to break into it. And if I get stuck, you've got all these write-ups that people have done on how you can get further within the box. And so I always try to challenge myself to get as far as I can in terms of what the goal is. And the goals are different per the boxes. They're usually get root access on it. But if I ever get stuck, and I won't click on it because I don't want to do any spoilers, but basically they show you detailed steps on how they did it. And the cool thing about these boxes is you can usually go a different number of routes of how you actually achieve the end goal. So I'll show you how to basically get this set up. And then if you're interested tonight or whenever you're free, you can start playing with this because it is a lot of fun. So like I said, these are all VMs. So whether that's VMware Workstation, which you get for free as an Iowa State student, basically you can type in Iowa State software and go to basically the first link, software for students, and under VMware products you can download it. So you just log in. Actually, I'll show you that real quick just because. So it's under the VMware tab. You can get VMware Workstation 12. Some of them specify that you can only use it with VirtualBox or VMware. So VirtualBox is free. It's another, basically what Workstation does, just hosting the virtual machines. That one's free, so you can download that as well. Sometimes they won't specify if it works in either one, so you can just try both and see which one does work. But yeah, let me go ahead and demo how you would do that real quick. So I've downloaded SICK-OS 1.2, and you can see that I've got an .ovf, basically a zip file for a VM, and then also the disk file. And by the way, on VulnHub, I don't know why, but the servers right now are kind of slow, so torrent them, don't download them, otherwise it'll take you like ridiculous amounts of time. But yeah, so if you open up VMware Workstation, what you can do is just go, and I've got it here, but we'll just do it again. If you go File, where are we here? My bad. Yeah, you can just double click it and open it in Workstation. And so you can give the virtual machine a name. Since I already have it, I'll just name it too. And VMware will go ahead and import it. Sometimes you'll get a fail, and if you retry, it'll work. In this case, it does. If not, then you can always try VirtualBox as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that because it's already imported. And basically, what you want to make sure you do is with the networking, you basically get a virtual network card, kind of. And so that shows up under like VMware Network Adapter. You can set up networks within your computer, which is awesome, the power of virtualization. And so what you want to do, you don't want to expose this to the internet just because it is full of holes, exploit-wise. So I just put it on host-only network, and you do that by right-clicking, going into settings, and then switching it to host-only. And then, so I've got a Kali Linux box, which if you haven't heard of Kali, it's basically just a pen tester's version of Linux. It's got all the tools for pen testing already on it, and so it's kind of set up for you, which is nice and easy to get into. If I go ahead and log in here real quick. So basically, what I need to do to start out first is figure out where this VM is IP address-wise. I know it's on the same network because I set both of these boxes to host-only, so we kind of get a network running within my laptop. And so what I've done is I do a ifconfig in Kali in a terminal, and that basically just shows me the subnet that I'm on. And so with that, first I was doing a basically a scan that only pings the the boxes that are on the network. This didn't really help me out that much just because there's some other extra ones here. And so what I did then is just a typical nmap scan for port discovery. And that shows me for this IP address that SSH and HTTP are open. And so that's actually the box for SICK-OS. So now I know the IP address and I can start hitting it with different tools within Kali or anything that I learned through research online. I do see that HTTP is open, so I can actually try going to that website or seeing if there is a web server that's serving pages up. And I think it's the 128, yep. And then, yeah, so we get something. So I'm not actually going to demonstrate how to exploit the boxes because that would take way too long, and I really just wanted this to be something that you guys could go home and work on tonight or whenever you're free or if you're interested at all. But basically that's how you would set it up. And one thing that I did want to show, what I do, and also I learned this week, I've been paying for it, as a student at Iowa State or just a student in general, you don't have to pay for GitHub Premium, which basically gives you free private repos and a bunch of other stuff comes with like the GitHub student. So look into that and don't pay for it because I've already wasted $28 and didn't realize it. So I don't want to show too much of this, but basically, I mean, it's all online, so just don't read it if you think you want to do this one. I just have a private repo with exploit notes, and for every walkthrough I do, I just use the GitHub Markdown, and I make a new page for every walkthrough. Detailing every single step I took. And the cool thing about this is when you're doing other boxes, you can search. If you remember that, you know, hey, I did something similar to this, what I need to do with another box, but I don't remember exactly how I did it, you can search within this repository up here, and it'll give you all your notes based on what you're looking for. So I worked for a pen testing firm this summer, and I actually used the notes from the boxes that I was working on. So there's real world application. The stuff that you'll learn doing this will definitely be helpful, especially if you're interested in the CDCs at all, because while you're not attacking on that one, you are defending, and knowing to think like a hacker and to think like basically how to secure things, you can learn a lot by doing I guess the hacking part of it too, rather than just the defense. So that's pretty much all I want to show for that demo. So if you have any questions, just feel free to post in general or reach out to me on Slack, and I can help you guys out if you want to get started with that. It's a ton of fun and you will learn a lot. So, and it's all on your laptop, so you don't have to rely on anything or anyone. Yeah. And that's my demo, if you'll call it a demo. Let's leave this up here for me.
Okay, so while I get set up here, all of you that have devices out, and I know that's most of you, open up your menus and look and see what Wi-Fi network are you connected to right now. Just out of curiosity, I promise. Okay, so how many of you are on EDU Roam? That's not enough. You should all be on there, because those of you who are on anything else, other direction.
Okay.
What?
Keep the mic.
Oh, yep. Anyways, all of you that are not on EDU Roam, I've been spying on you for the last hour. So, thanks. Kept it interesting. Yeah, so right here, I have Wireshark going off of this nice large antenna sitting right here. And this is all of the traffic over the Wi-Fi right now. Yeah. So, nothing too interesting. But if I come, see if we've got anything in HTTP here. We got a little bit. A little bit of plain text. Okay. I'm gonna move this back over here so I can actually see what I'm doing without breaking my neck. So I'm just gonna stop capturing everything. quickly save this. Okay. And then if I come over here, this is all of the captures I've done during this presentation and one from earlier, just kind of chillaxing in the TLA. So if you look down here, you can see it's counting all of the packets that I've captured in the roughly the last hour and a half. And it's going to take a while because there's like 500,000 of them. So once this loads very slowly.
So why is EDU Roam good and the others?
That's a great thing. Okay, EDU Roam is better than all of the others because EDU Roam is the only network here at Iowa State that uses password encryption, which means that all of your data is encrypted, and so while I can still pick it up, it's useless to me. It's just random hex dumps.
So you have to use a VPN everywhere and still use the open Wi-Fi network?
It's better.
Yes.
We'll go with better.
If EDU Roam, do you not have like EDU Roam somewhere?
I don't have it set up.
Okay. It doesn't hurt to, I mean, it works the same as the other ones. You just have to put your net ID at IA State and then your password for login. So yeah, anything, if you're using ISU Guest, IA State, ISU Cardinal, those might be the ones that you guys see. Those are all open. And it's completely legal for Logan to sniff those packets because it is on an open network. So just be aware of that. Because yeah, EDU Roam isn't terribly hard to set up. Like I said, just at IA State and then your password. So.
Yep. So now that Daniel's said that, this is all the HTTP I've captured. For simplicity's sake, I'm just looking at the HTTP right now because that's the easiest for me to show you cool stuff with. Let's see, file, export objects, HTTP. And that's a lot of stuff, I think. I got some images.
Sort by size or content type. See if we can.
Or just save them all. You got 2 questions, by the way.
What? Oh, who had questions? Because I'm bad at paying attention. All right, start at the top and work my way down. What was that? If you happen to know how it's encrypted and know the password, and maybe.
If you're on a normal WPA2 network and you have the network key, you can put that in and decrypt encrypted packets. Only if you know the key, though.
Also, typically not.
Well, so when you were saying that it's better to use a VPN, you said that as if you were kind of skeptical. What was with that?
Not that I'm skeptical. Well, okay, it depends on the provider. But also, I was just saying that you're basically layers through security when you use EDU Roam. I mean, there's nothing wrong with using VPN, right? So that'll be, tunneling the traffic and encrypting it. But to get the added layer of being on an encrypted Wi-Fi network when it's like readily available, that's kind of more what I was getting at. Like, you should do that in addition to your VPN. So.
When are they going to update it for all the networks?
It's been so long.
Probably never.
Probably never, yeah.
Yeah, and also the nice thing about EDU Roam is it's available, I don't know about worldwide, but in the US, it is? Okay. At most universities, you'll have EDU Roam, and you can actually use it with your NetID login and stuff, so you can have internet access on other campuses.
Here's the network, like the Ethernet.
It's better than the unsecured wireless. Yeah. Can't really say much more than that. Questions?
Yes. So, look. I saw your hand earlier, so.
Okay. So question about the content type for this. You have some packets displaying content types, but most of them are not. But you're on an unsecured network, so shouldn't they all display content types?
So right now, it's I'm pretty sure these are just random bits of HTTP nonsense, not really exportable as any sort of object.
Also, it's actually not the fact, who asked that, sorry. Okay, it's actually not the fact that he's on like IC kernel and secure network. When he's sniffing, he's basically getting everything. So packets that are traveling through there are from all different networks. And so you'll see, you can actually, like, you won't be able to see the encrypted packets or the content of those packets. But technically, and Keen, you can clarify, but you would be sniffing those as well from EDU realm, from IC Cardinal, from.
So that's where they don't.
Well, those are probably just streams of data that don't have a certain MIME type. The rest of them are specified explicitly in the request from the server.
Okay.
That this is an image, this is a, a XML or something.
Yeah, you can even see, if you look at line 782, remember, packet numbers, 782, you can see the different SSIDs. So whatever 10 is, EDU realm, so that one's going to be encrypted, and then IC Cardinal.
Okay. And earlier you were on a page on Wireshark that had certain warning signs, like packet not modified or last packet not whatever. What was that all about?
That's just devices communicating with each other, so that could just be like a failed packet transfer, and it's just saying, hey, send it again.
Okay.
That's nothing with Wireshark. That's just, again, stuff I'm picking up.
Okay, so some of what you see in Wireshark is just basic nonsense.
Yeah, a lot of what you'll see in Wireshark is effectively useless, so unless you're the intended device.
Or it's part of the protocol that you don't care about necessarily.
Yeah. Okay, up at the top. I promise I'll show you cool stuff in a second.
How would you get from that step to a point in which you would have like information of something? Like to me, it just looks like it's not just random.
Well, let me try and show you. So right now on my other monitor, for reasons of I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, I'm just looking through all the things I caught, and like it was pointed out earlier, a lot of them aren't anything useful. Some of them are JPEGs though, like this. I don't know what that is. It's a painting of some sort, I assume. But yeah, and if I really wanted to, I could go back and reference this packet and see what the IP that it came from went and where it was going.
We see their net ID.
Possibly, yeah.
If your computer's name is your net ID or something, and we can reverse look that up, we can probably find who you are. Yeah.
Or if you can get the MAC address and social engineer ITS and be giving you the.
Yeah, there's that.
That's
Well,
questionable.
websites that are secured with SSL or HTTPS.
No, I won't get anything interesting off of you, unless you're requesting an asset through non-secured channels to that website. Like I'm guessing happened with this picture? I'm not sure who was doing here. Yeah, it was.
You want to up to it?
It's.
Doing network layer resolving.
I'm not, but I can.
Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
like just within this proximity, or is it like?
Within range of whatever my antenna is. So this one is a 15 dBi directional one, so it's easily got everyone here, and probably a few others too.
Can you use your laptops in the return, or does it have to be external?
Depends on.
Yeah, your best bet is to go out and buy one of these. It's just a little alpha. I think they're like. Yes, we do. We do rent them out. Question?
So if you were getting packets for HTTP, let's say like TCP/80, if they were breaking it up, how complete of a reassembly could you get from all the individual frames? Would you have to look at the flag or the IP addresses that can go back and forth? How would that work?
If I'm very lucky, what I can actually do. Let's just see if I can find some TCP here. So what you can do is, even if it's broken up into different chunks, you can follow the TCP stream, which, oh hey, there's TCP right here. I don't know if it's anything cool, but just follow TCP stream, and that one, oh no, it's loading, it's loading. Have to remember I've got thousands, hundreds of thousands of packets to sort through. So what do we got?
That's from a Samsung phone.
Yes, it is from a Samsung phone. Yeah. So yeah, you can, even if a TCP stream is broken up, Wireshark will follow it for you. So I'm not actually sure how it does it. Yes?
So you don't actually have to be on any network to pick these up. You can just be like,
No.
So you could use it to get like Wi-Fi passwords.
Yeah, so
For
if
four-way handshake?
if your Wi-Fi uses an older encryption, then you can, it's totally possible to derive the key from it, from if you capture enough packets. I'm not sure what this one is. Just somebody's head. Starting to think somebody was on a dating website.
That's the.
Because that's a lot of.
Is this coming from the stream, the TCP stream?
No, these are from that HTTP dump I did when I dumped all of those objects. Really starting to think somebody was on Tinder. Got a random chunk of JavaScript I don't really want to open. So we got a GIF, but it's super tiny, and I'm not taking the time to fix it. Sorry. So yeah, this is kind of the basic stuff you can do with Wireshark. Somebody is doing their taxes. So it's, this is all kind of, it's fun. It's just, I'm looking through your pictures, I'm looking through your plain text stuff. It's fun for me, maybe not for you. Oh. Found this. I don't know who was doing what, but cool. So yeah, this is some of the stuff you can do with Wireshark. Totally free, totally legal, as long as you don't try to break anyone's encryptions. Up the top.
Is there a way to filter this data coming in so that you don't have to
Yeah.
do it all?
Yep. So if I get behind all these images. So this bar right here lets me sort in a lot of different ways. I can search for just HTTP, which again, it'll search. I can search for things that came from not a specific IP address, so if I wanted to not show my IP.
Who asked that question real quick? Okay, yeah, and also just to add to that, so these are what are display filters, what are called display filters. Basically, as the packets come in or after you've captured them, you can filter by them. But also, Wireshark, before you even start capturing packets, allows you to put filters in basically to ignore packets of a specific protocol. Like if you don't want to see all the 802.11 ones, or if you just want to get HTTP and TCP, you can filter for that before you even start. That way you're not collecting all the ones you don't want. So that's a possibility.
That also increase your speed if you're just excited to collect one thing.
So it's real time.
I can't remember which menu it's under.
But you'll be collecting
What?
less data.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
More what you want to see, right? So you're filtering through less in the end, so it might be quicker to go through things. So yeah.
It's kind of hard to do mirrored.
Slow hard drive, and you're trying to capture an awful lot of data. Yeah. Choke down, be more specific on what you're capturing.
Up front again?
Yeah, sorry. So you had a 802.11. Do you get any useful information out of those? Because I keep searching those and I can't get any information out of 802.11.
That's just information about the access points or clients that are searching for access points. There's not much, juicy information in those.
With beacons and stuff, devices will basically say which networks they're looking for, and you can then do some, or attempt to do some de-anonymization if you know that this one person has a home network that's called something specific. If you see a beacon for that, you can guess that that might be one of their devices.
Speaking of that, is there a Frank in here? I'm seeing a Frank network or Frank laptop. Maybe not? Okay. Just curious.
Okay.
Is there like an actual practical use for this data, or is it just to engineer people and steal identities?
Okay. Officially, it's useful for telling what kind of network or what kind of traffic is going over your network. So if you're, sysadmin for a company, you can see, who's doing what on your network. Unofficially, there's all kinds of fun, evil things you can do. I mean, we've already mentioned a few.
I've got another semi-legitimate use.
Oh.
Google, for a while, to supplement Google Maps, would actually, I think they might still be doing it, check what networks are around you, and based on that, be able to tell you more accurately than the GPS sometimes where you are.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
So before I answer a few more questions, what I've done here is I've now enabled domain name resolution. So someone was visiting iTunes. Before we just had a bunch of numbers. Now Wireshark is resolving all of those names. AlyssaMonks.com. Cool. Someone was spending a lot of time on AlyssaMonks.com. Some YouTube.
Are we not interested?
I'm not sure if I want to open that one up on the big screen. So yeah, now I can not only see just random numbers, but I can see who was trying to talk to
Monks
it.
is the pictures that with like the water, the girl.
Oh yeah.
That's a Monks.
Oh okay.
She's a painter.
Are you actually legit about that, or are you?
Yeah. No, I just googled it. Yeah.
Huh, cool. The more you know. So, yeah. So if I clear out all my filters here, be able to see some device names in here, theoretically. So yeah, that's about enough for the basics of Wireshark. Any more questions?
Actually, it might not have been a question at all. I had used this once before over at McDonald's, which by the way is legal. They do have a unencrypted open network. So I sniffed the traffic, and I think I captured credit card data coming off of the machines, because you can read I read Discovery card and MasterCard. I just wondering, what can you do with that information? Should you have it?
Tell McDonald's?
Yeah.
If you're getting credit card information, that's probably a good time for some responsible reporting. Let McDonald's know that they're transmitting credit cards in the clear web, so that you're not committing identity theft by accident just by having those on your laptop. Up at the top.
One more, what's that little device called that you mentioned?
What was what? Sorry?
The device called that you mentioned.
The alpha antenna?
Yeah, so little alpha networking card, just Google it. They're pretty cheap. And then the antennas, this one's a little bit nicer one. This is a more common one. It's a little less conspicuous. And I think this one costs like 20 bucks for two of them, so.
In this case, alpha is ALFA.
Yes, that's important to mention. And also worth mentioning, while I'm at this, you cannot run Wireshark on Windows.
Well, you can.
Well, you can, okay. You can't capture packets on Windows. It doesn't work very well.
Most networks like this.
Yeah. Okay. I'm using Linux right now, Kali Linux, pretty standard for this kind of stuff. Mac, I think will run it. I don't know because I avoid Mac like the plague, so. No, as far as I know, most Linux will run it. Can't think of any that don't.
I will say though, for Windows, I have successfully had USB pass-through running Kali in a virtual machine on Windows and getting the pass-through from the adapter. Sometimes that could be a real pain in the butt, but I mean, I guess I'm living proof that it can work. So if you want to try, you can.
You just have to be smarter than me, so.
For macOS, if you have make installed, you can actually compile a tar.gz file in macOS, and it'll run.
Okay. Like I said, I avoid Mac, so I have very little knowledge on that subject. So, up at the top.
One thing to keep in mind when you're sniffing, whether you're using WinPCAP and actually sniffing on Windows, or if you're sniffing on Linux or Macintosh, you are accepting everything into your system. In order to read that, you are running as system or root. There are known exploits against Wireshark and against WinPCAP. So if you're thinking about capturing at some place like, say, DEF CON, don't do it. Somebody will own your system as you think you're listening in on them. Be cautious.
Anything else before I hand it back off to Daniel? Okay.
All right, so real quick here before we wrap up, we want to start doing some more social events for the club, just being outside of like actual club time on like Tuesdays. And before I go into that, and we'll announce it. I'll get an email out to you guys, but we're planning on doing a bunch of beginners nights after the meeting. Immediately preceding the meeting, we'll do stuff like intro stuff based on security, so like networking, Linux, server administration, stuff like that. You know, scripting in Python, and so we've got a bunch of ideas for that. Those will be after the meetings. So if you're interested, I'll be sending out an email once a week. If you're not subscribed to the mailing list, you can definitely still do that. But you'll get an email saying what the meeting will be on and then what's going to happen after the meeting, if anything.